Hey everyone. Hey, it is another Talk on Tuesdays. It's me, your host, Val the Voice Johnson. And of course, there's always fun things happening with tech equipment, which is always hilarious. And myself, you know what? I'm just going to roll with the punches and keep going because I punch back. We're going to talk Oscars. No, this is not an Oscar, but we're going to talk it. And we have a special guest. We'll do that after these messages. So it is Talk on Tuesdays. I meant to make those changes, but the computer did not allow me to do so. It is fine. And we got another episode of Talk on Tuesdays. I'm so grateful that you guys are joining me. And of course, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but your girl here, she's been working on a book. What? Check it out. A DJ Saved My Life by Val the Voice Johnson. It's coming out. We're doing pre-orders right now. It's an ebook. Kind of go through what I went through coming up and developing podcasting for myself, how it saved my life, how being a virtual DJ saved my life. And then on top of that, additionally, the ABCs of podcasting, some things that I definitely need to add into the book. Make sure you check your equipment 2 hours ahead of time. It's all good. Anyway, so my writing mentor, Monique Lisa Johnson, we've been working on this project since March of last year. So excited that this is happening. I didn't think it was going to happen, but I like people keeping me creatively responsible, which is always great. Oh my gosh. So, and let me see who is in the chat. Please go ahead and give us a shout. Let us know that you're there. Of course, thank you so very much, Alejandro. Good to see you. And of course, Mr. Springer, who's always here doing his thing. And thank you so much, Mr. Springer, for placing the link in the chat. And that is if you guys want to pick up do a pre-order of DJ Saved My Life by myself, Val the Voice. It is it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So my goodness, my goodness. Well, we're going to be talking Oscars, but I was thinking, who can I talk Oscars with? I was thinking Coach, and Coach, his lane is sports. And I want to thank everyone for supporting the Pull Up Podcast. It did its thing, but my goodness, we have a guest to talk about all of that. You remember this face, Mr. Womble. Hey,
Hey, hello, good evening.
how you
Wow, the
doing?
boys, I'm doing really well. I woke up this morning, turned on my YouTube, and it was like the Pull Up Podcast. Like, whoa, there we go, shooting threes, making an impact here on the West Coast. All right,
Hmm.
worldwide, taking interludes worldwide. All right.
Yeah, yeah. We had been working on the pull up, and of course, you and Tony talked about it as well. And so he decided, hey Val, I want to make sure that I have a certain look to it. I want to make sure that this happens. And so we were all aiming for January 15th, the King holiday and his actual birthday. But I don't know what was happening out there on the West Coast. Here in Tennessee as well as Illinois, we were in deep freeze. Now I think, where are we at? We're in the 30s now. That's a heat wave for us, but not necessarily for the
Ooh.
West Coast.
Yeah, no, it's been a little bit rainy. Today we actually had some sun, so that was really nice to get the sun out. A lot of rainbows with the rain and the clouds coming in. That's winter here, so no snow, no deep freeze. But I've been talking with family, talking to my mom, hearing about the weather. I have friends visiting Chicago, I have empathy for you, but I'm
Please
glad I
do.
ain't in it. I'm glad I ain't in it though. I gotta say that. I don't miss not shoveling snow for real.
Yeah, and I usually have somebody to help me with shoveling snow, and I did not have that help, but I'm okay with that because
Oh,
it's always
oh,
good to
oh.
have help when you have to deal with snow. But definitely it has been a deep freeze, but we are coming out of the deep freeze. So I'm very, very happy we are not staying in that regard. So I am very, very happy that it's not staying like that. But we are excited. We're going to be talking the Oscars tonight. And thank you so much for putting that in the chat, Mr. Springer. Welcome back, Mr. Womble. Yeah, put some respect on his name. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. That's how it goes. But let me get these graphics up. My goodness. So I think where are we at? The 96th annual Oscars. The
Woo!
nominations hit this
Sounds right.
morning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it hit funny, huh? It really hit right.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it came on and they of course went over, I want to say anywhere from 20 to 21 nominations. You know, and it's going to be airing on March 10th of 24. Can't believe we're in 2024 already. But I have to say, I think I want to take a look. Where are we going to be taking a look at first?
I think you wanted to look at Best Picture. I think we were looking at Best Picture
We want to
first,
look
right?
at Best Picture. So I think I want to say maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, they made the decision to not, it used to only be 5 categories, but now there are, I want to say 10, there's not 10 not categories, but they always now put up 10 pictures. They have that now instead of it just being the basic
Right,
5. And of course,
right.
the nominations aired this morning on ABC. And so, yeah, so I definitely want to go ahead and talk about some of the movies. Now here, I always need me some homework. This is movie homework, which always happens with that. But let me go ahead and do this. Man, oh man. So here are the 10 movies that are nominated for Best Picture. And Michael, of the 10, how many have you seen?
I've seen 6 of the 10.
Okay.
6 of the 10. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to take a look. I think I have seen about 4.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
3 or 4. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I've seen 3 or 4. Yeah, so I have more homework than you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I just, there. I love movies. I had a little bit of time over the break. One of the movies I really wanted to see, I risked life and limb to see it. That means I drove to Oakland. Um, Went to see it there. Parked on the street. Did a lot of really crazy things to see this film, and it was worth it. One of the movies of the 10 nominated for Best Picture is a movie called American Fiction. And its star, Jeffrey Wright, is up for Best Actor. Its screenwriter, Core Jefferson, is up for Best Adapted Screenplay. And it's up for Best Picture. I mean, it's really good. It's worth it. And there you see in the poster, you saw it for just a second. It stars Jeffrey Wright. That woman right behind him is one of my loves from television from so many years ago, Erica Alexander, who
That's
is
Maxine Shaw from
that's right. That's my girl Maxine, one of my favorite lawyers, and she plays a lawyer in this movie. Which I thought was like a really cool nod. Tracy Ellis Ross is in this film, as well as Sterling K. Brown, who gained a Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. There you see the both of them together. Jeffrey Wright and Sterling K. Brown up for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor for this movie, which features a lot of Black actors, Black writers. It's directed by the screenwriter, Core Jefferson, who is African American. And it is a great movie. Now, I'm not saying it's a black movie. Did y'all notice I didn't say that?
Please
Because
don't.
that's
Yeah,
because
I
that's
heard.
one of the things. And Eric Alexander has been on some places, and you may have seen her viral talking about what it does to call a movie a black movie. It's a movie that has African Americans in it, and it is a
Mhm.
great piece of art. It is funny, it's satirical, it shows lots of different sides to who we are as a people, and it makes fun of the fact that we have been sort of pigeonholed and held narrowly to only be certain things. Is based on the book Erasure by our Percival Everett that came out in 2001. It got adapted, so it's all about this author played by Jeffrey Wright, Thelonious Monk Ellison, who writes a book that gets no love, no publicity, no nothing. It is just a regular book. So he decides, what if I wrote a quote unquote black book and I made it about a rough dude from the ghetto who comes out of prison and he does this and that, and the white folks just love it up. And he has to decide what he wants to do because he gets successful with a book that he never wanted to write and didn't want anybody to read.
Wow. And here's the thing, the it got award buzz back in December when the film initially was released. And what I was doing, I follow Eric Alexander and Tracy Ellis Ross on Instagram. So I started to see photos from this film on their IG, and I'm thinking, well, what film is this? I've never seen this. And so this is what's exciting for me, is that you have this film nominated for Best Picture, and then also adapted screenplay. And that's also Mr. Jefferson being nominated for that as well. And I had been trying to get to the theaters to see this. I initially was trying to see it back in December, but I ended up seeing The Color Purple twice because
Oh,
the people that I went with didn't want to go see American Fiction. It's like, oh, it's too much cursing. And I was like, okay, I get it, but all right, well, I'll see it at another
well, pal,
time.
I saw both in the week. So I had a really good
Okay.
week. I saw both American Fiction and The Color Purple, the musical, in that week. And I got to tell you, I was on clouds that whole week because I saw the very best in us on the big screen. I saw two different types of movies, but I saw some of the best directing, some of the best writing, and some of the best performances of the year. Now, American Fiction is up for Best Picture. Color Purple the musical is not, and it should be. If you got a list of 10, I can't see how you can make a list of the best 10 movies of last year and not have that on there. That is a travesty. I know what happened to the original movie. I remember it, but it seems like,
Mhm.
we not learning from history, y'all.
And I'm trying to figure out, why is The Color Purple, well, I think it only got the one nomination. I think none of the music was recognized
Yeah,
regarding this.
yeah,
I'm
right,
trying to
right. And
figure
if you
that
saw that
out.
movie, you know that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
that's really
because
ridiculous.
I'm not, I'll
Has
I'll
won
be the first
awards
to
on
admit to you.
Broadway.
Right. I'll be the first to admit to you, I am not a big fan of what I call musicals, movie musicals. There's very few that I'm a big fan of, but I have to say, with The Color Purple, I checked it out. I actually did a review of the film,
Mhm.
and I
Yep.
thought it like shocked me, because I was thinking, am I going to like it? Am I going to appreciate it? And when I got into it and saw all of the performances that happened with The Color Purple, I was
Yeah.
thinking, wait a minute, David Allen Greer, he sings? I didn't know that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
paired him up with Tamala Mann, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm seeing Shug Avery reimagined in Taraji P Henson. So I'm like,
Cookie.
okay,
Yeah,
Cookie.
Cookie ate that roll up.
So I mean, and I was thinking, this is different. I wanted to see that. So I was rooting for at least 2 to 3 nominations, at least one of the songs
Yeah.
from the film,
Yeah.
or another. See, so Danielle Brooks was the
Yes.
sole
Best
acting.
supporting actress. She's
And
nominated for
this,
Best Supporting Actress. And just real briefly, I know we were talking about The Color Purple, the musical. It's an
mhm,
adaptation, of course, of the actual book, as well as the original movie and the Broadway musical, which won many Tonys. It won Best Revival recently. So
right.
that it, I mean, to not acknowledge all of the artistry behind that is a slap in the face, really. And one of the things that I don't like, Val, is that I feel like we were again pitted against each other. And that's part of it. Yeah. Now was Taraji correct to say the things that she said about the production and her payment and all that? I think so. I think that's okay to say. I think that Oprah acknowledged some of those things. She talked about some of them, the ones she wanted to talk about, but that shouldn't be held against the art of the movie. And
No.
that shouldn't be, that movie stands alone. It stands on itself. You watch that movie 20 years from now, it's still gonna be amazing. Okay. So the politics of backstage or whatever is ridiculous to hold against that movie and its stars. And I gotta say, I hope it's not blasphemy. I hope my black card stays in my wallet. But I enjoyed the musical even more than the original. Is that okay to say, Val?
That is, you know what? I am right there with you, Michael. There was some rough
That's my
scenes that I was
Suge.
trying to
Okay, I
figure
know
out
there was
how
a
they were
Suge in
gonna.
the original. That's my Suge right there. There she is. Mhm.
So I'm thinking there was some scenes they dealt with that
Yeah,
I was thinking this was rough in the original, and they smoothed it out. It was still dealt with it.
surprisingly so, almost.
Yeah, and that
When I
was
think
that was
about our
really rough
political
to see.
climate, I would think they would have like leaned into some of the things that made the movie controversial. Some 40 years ago, but they did, like you said, smoothed it out for okay. And it worked. It worked really well. So the fact that that movie is not up for Best Picture is ridiculous. And one movie that is up for Best Picture that I like, and we talked about this, and I'll take on anybody that wants to on it. Barbie. Barbie should be nominated for Best Picture. I'm glad it was, but apparently Val, the voice, it directed itself,
Uh,
and
the
and even though the movie is Barbie, it stars Ken because Ken is the only one that got a nomination of the dolls. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know how Barbie directed herself. That's Mattel should get a pat on the back for that one. Not sure how that happened, but
So I have a
it is a
question for the
great movie.
chat. If you have seen, now we have them listed there for you, the 10 movies that were nominated for Best Picture. If you have seen any of these films, let us know. Now, notice we talked about The Color Purple, but it's not up there. We're
Nope.
talking about Barbie, which was a huge that did it
Financially,
did huge financially. I
billion
think
dollar
probably
movie,
how much?
billion with a B,
It's
billion
a
dollar
billion
movie,
dollar
billion
film,
as in
and
Barbie.
you took your daughter to see this film, right?
I did, and I'll take on people for that one too. She's young, and I took her to see it, and I feel like that was good. I like the messages in the movie; they were very positive toward women. I think one of the reasons that the movie has been derided and that the director didn't get a nod, it's either it's either irony or it makes the point of the movie, because the movie is all about men stepping into spaces where women should be and should be able to be themselves. And here you have this very strong feminist pro woman movie, and the director is not mentioned, not nominated. Ridiculous,
And
really
and
ridiculous.
and I have to say this. There's very few women that have been nominated for what I like to call directing films. I mean, I'd name on one hand how many women have actually won for best direction of a film. And it's a little disturbing, but I was thinking for a film like this that was so well celebrated last year, like people they there were sold out of pink. Pink paint got sold out. People were taking their children to go check this out. It was like you did with your daughter. It was a big deal. So I was thinking, well, why wasn't it? Why if we're bringing other noms that it got, America Fiera, who, if you guys know her from Ugly Betty, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this. You had who's listed there. You see Ryan Gosling. He was nominated for Best Actor, but
You
the young
nominate
lady,
Ken, but not Barbie?
how you nominate? Yeah,
Ken
how you gonna do
Barbie?
that? They're supposed to be peanut butter and jelly. You see them there in the shot. They're supposed to get nominated. But here's the thing: Barbie, along with Oppenheimer, and that's one of the other films that was that I think had about 13 nominations. These were films that were released just at the start of the actor strike, because they joined the writer strike that started in May of 2023. And in July of 2023 is when Barbie came out. None of the actors could actually go and promote the film because of the actors strike. So I didn't hear a lot. They were trying to promote Barbie, I want to say maybe a month before. And I noticed, Tom Cruise, because he is a producer, he knew what was coming. So he had a lot of people promote his film. What was it? Mission Impossible 10. I don't know
Yeah.
what number it
Yeah.
was up
No,
to.
it's like on 10. Yeah. That's right. I think that's accurate.
Hmm.
So
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 yes, and I
the
see
thing is,
one person has said they've seen Killers of the Flower Moon. We're going to be talking about that in a
wow,
little bit too, huh?
that's a long. I mean, that takes some devotion. What's that movie like? 5 hours?
That
Well,
it's almost 3 hours. It's quite
almost
not
three.
yet.
Okay. Well,
Quite.
one last thing, closing on just to support what you said about women directing.
Hmm.
There are a handful of women who have been nominated for Best Director. That includes the director of Barbie. She is in that handful of women. She was nominated in 2017 for a movie called Lady Bird, which she probably should have won that year.
Hmm.
She's a great woman. And there's my girl Issa. There's Madam President. There's Barbie President. So some of y'all that were like, I mean, got the negative, spin on Barbie, and you haven't seen it. It's there. I think it's on Max now. You should check it out. Check it out for Issa. Check it out for America Ferrara. The monologue that she gives about what it means to be a woman, a contemporary woman living life and all the contradictions. That's why she got nominated. That monologue went viral after the movie came out. People started studying it, and that goes to, I think, what you talked about earlier, adapted screenplay, right? American
Right.
Fiction and Barbie are both up for adapted screenplay, as well as Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So like I said, I was someone that was going to totally avoid seeing Barbie. I don't know why. I felt
I just happen to be in pink today. But
and I'm in like purple, whatever you want to call it, like a
hey, good
cousin. It's a
movies, good
cousin.
movies.
But no, I am going to check out Barbie, number one, because I just didn't know the message. I just thought I literally was going to just toss it away. I'm thinking, oh, it's just a movie about a doll, and the doll comes to life, and it's going to be one of those type of films. I did not have any interest in seeing Barbie, but now I have an interest. Thank you so much. Kimberly is saying she didn't get a chance to see Barbie yet, but because of the nominations, and I think it's at either 6 or 7 nominations, I forgot how many nominations it got, but I would suggest to check it out because, Michael, according to you,
It's
it
one of
had
the best
a
movies of the
stronger
year.
message. Yeah.
Yeah, it has a really strong positive message. I'll tell you this: if you are, if I know people did take their kids to see the movie, some of the jokes will likely go over their heads. Probably, it has those levels of humor to it. Val, I'm really surprised you didn't get to see it. I because at the time when it was out, there was the Barbie box. I remember seeing people get inside the box and take pictures and do all sorts of stuff related to the movie. I know Color Purple had a similar like resurgence of people
Purple.
going to the movie. Definitely wearing
Mhm.
purple when they went to see the movie and going in groups. and this is one of the movies that really did that. So
So
of the
now,
stuff you saw, what did you like? What did you like in terms of movies, Val the Voice?
so here we are. This is Kevin. Kevin saw Oppenheimer, and I
Yeah,
actually saw it over the
yeah.
weekend.
Okay.
Now, I'm biased. I am a Christopher Nolan fan. There's very
Okay.
few directors I'm a fan of. They can do something and I'll run to the theater and see it.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yes. Some of
Inception,
Inception. Yes.
yeah, Tenet, you just over and
Tenet.
over again. You got
Mhm.
these films that and the funny thing is that he has this way of communicating with actors where they want to work with him. It's the same actors that come and kind of circle around in his orbit.
Big
Um,
ambitious movies. Really
Very
big
much so.
ambitious movies.
Very, very,
And
very
for
much.
some people, they'll say really male-dominated movies too. They'll point that out that Christopher Nolan hasn't seen a cast with 7 guys and a woman he doesn't like. Right? I mean, his movies are pretty much guy heavy in terms of and you see that in Oppenheimer, right?
Very, very much so. It was interesting to see a lot of actors from the television world, from Scandal. If I saw that correctly, the actor, I don't know why his name is slipping my brain right now, who played
Tony Goldwyn.
Tony Goldwyn was in this, and
Mhm.
I said, "Oh my gosh, hey!" And then I saw a few other folks, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Ed Begley Jr. So there's a lot of people from the television world that I felt like, okay, I'm gonna come on in here. We're talking about this atomic bomb. We're talking about this gentleman who created it, and kind of dealing with that conflict. But one thing that I will mention is that with that film, and I saw this in the Hollywood Reporter, Oppenheimer, as well as Killers of the Flower Moon, like you have these directors that, and the producers of this that make this film that really affected people of color in some kind of way. Killers of the Flower Moon, Native Americans, and that happened in Oklahoma, and then Hiroshima with the dropping of the atomic bomb and affecting Japanese. And it's like people were wondering, well, how come someone of either a Japanese descent should do this film, or someone of Native American should do Kills of the Flower Moon? And I'm thinking, well, would the film would it have been enough people to have watched it and thought about it and said, okay, let's check it out? Or would they have gotten the support? Because I feel like sometimes films don't get the support that they need to be seen, because it's all politics. There's a lot of politics in Hollywood.
Well,
And
here's
so,
the
yeah.
thing. If that's the case, that's fine. Then they can make their own movie and version of that story. Go
Mhm.
ahead. I remember many dozens of years ago, Val the Voice, when we were on campus at North Central College, and we met Amiri Baraka. May he rest in power.
Mhm.
And he was a wonderful playwright, written this play. And I was talking to him and I was saying, hey, I really like that play. I thought about writing a version of it where I do this and I change a thing with that and I do that. And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, you should write your own damn play. And he walked away. And it was great. Like,
Mhm.
so I hear what you're saying about Killers of the Flower Moon. And if there are folks who feel like that movie didn't represent them well and it's based off a book and that didn't represent them well, then you should tell your own story. That's what movies are, telling of a story. And that's why some of these nominees are so powerful. Something
And
what one of the other things, tell us about one of the other nominees that you saw. Let's look at, like, how about Best Actor, right? You mentioned Cillian Murphy, who plays Oppenheimer. He's up for Best Actor. You've got Jeffrey Wright from American Fiction. He's up for Best Actor. And then you have Coleman Domingo, who's up for Best Actor for Rustin. You got to see that. What did you think of that?
I I I enjoyed it. The one thing I will say, I had to go back and watch it, and I was thinking about that. I'm actually getting ready to show Kristen Murphy from Oppenheimer, because I thought he did a
Okay.
brilliant performance
Likely your
and
winner. That guy's gonna win the Oscar, likely.
that. So you're already predicting he's gonna win.
Yeah, probably. I mean that was one of the strongest performances I saw last year from a man, and I mean I think Jeffrey Wright is amazing, and he was in
Yeah,
this role. He was understated in American Fiction, but I mean Oppenheimer's gonna win. I mean that
yeah,
guy's
because
gonna win.
I feel like what's going to end up happening is that um Oppenheimer is going to win Best Picture because there's a lot of folks that have a love for Christopher Nolan because I feel like he's a directing darling. Like he does something and they move people kind of move in his direction and go, well, what are you going to do? And he to me gets the best people to do work on his soundtrack. The same gentleman who worked on the soundtrack for Oppenheimer also worked on it for um, uh, the first Black Panther. And so I don't want to mispronounce his name. It's Lujan, and it's I think German, but he's a brilliant composer. So I heard the music and I was like, that's a Christopher Nolan film because I hear the soundtrack. And so, but going to Rustin, which is available on Netflix, we talked about this here in also here on the Talk on Tuesdays. I got a chance to see it. And Colin Domingo is someone I've watched literally grow from and he's been doing films well over a decade or so. And I I'll just admit something to you. I didn't know he was gay. I had no clue at all. I was thinking to myself, I never knew about his personal life, and he was very. It was in my mind. I felt like he was was the word. But he recently did an interview talking about his role on Rustin, and he was. I love The View, so I was watching him on The View, and then he pretty much came out and said, "Hey, I'm." As someone who is gay and proud, I'm grateful that I was able to play this role because this person was kind of silenced, or his importance to the civil rights movement was kind of put under the covers. And I was thinking, wait a minute, I heard all of that, but you gay? Really? Hi, I missed the memo. I saw you in Morelli's Black Bottom. I saw you recently in The Color Purple. You played a mean mister. I was like,
And
wow.
that's
So
because he's an actor.
he's an
And that's because he's an actor. So I mean, I maybe I'm getting older in my ways now, but I remember when actors would act and they
Mhm,
let the roles speak for themselves. I know that we're getting into an area of identity politics in terms of art, but I do think there is some danger there.
mhm.
I told you, Val, I learned that Coleman Domingo was gay from you today. I didn't know that. It never had an impact to me on his work. I'm probably not gonna go back and watch Rustin again and think that dude's gay. Let me rewatch it again. But I do think that it shows his range. It shows that he's able to take on roles. He may have wanted to take this role on because Bernard Rustin is someone that should have been taught in schools. I was lucky enough to be around at a time in high school when we were looking around for people who weren't Martin Luther King Jr., who were involved in the civil rights movement. And this was one of the people I began to read about dozens of years ago and to learn more about that. He was dissed by King, which shows that King wasn't a perfect person, which is okay. That even tells us that King was greater than we thought. He wasn't an angel. He wasn't, manna from heaven. He was a man and he made some mistakes. And Rustin, certainly in this role, you see his flaws too, right? I mean, he has some positive beliefs and causes, but he wrecked a few homes, right, along the way. So I think that's oh, I think that's what the movies are telling us. The same with Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer wasn't a perfect guy. I mean, ask his wife, right? If you see the
Mhm.
movie. So these are historical figures who need to be examined. And one of the ways that we do it commonly is through movies. I'm so glad that Barack and Michelle Obama, just in case you're not thinking out the other Barack and Michelle, that they wanted to produce this and get this story out about one of the great organizers. I guess Barack could see himself in that. One of the great organizers in American history.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I wanted to kind of shy away from it because I was thinking, well, why is it important about his sexuality if he's helping out in the civil rights movement? And then I'm thinking, well, think about 1960s and you are a Christian and you are in that world. Like put yourself, Valerie, back in that time. And are people as liberal thinking as that? And so I was thinking, oh, I wanna think that I would be open minded, but if I was in my, very black church that's, pretty much yelling at me saying, hey, this is an abomination and everybody's going to hell or whatever the conversation is going to be like, if I was a minister like King, I would feel very conflicted about putting someone like that in front, saying, "Okay, I'm a minister, but how's that going to reflect on me if I tell, if I support this guy?" Although he was you could find out in the film he was excellent in organizing people together, and
Yes.
people would pretty much do anything to help out the cause, black, white, it didn't matter.
Right, and his cause was beyond civil rights. It goes into
Mhm.
gay rights. It goes into anti-war protests. It goes into lots of other places. But I think, to your point, during the initial days and years of what we think of as the modern civil rights movement in the early 50s, there was this idea of how many battles you want to take on all at once, right? How many fights can you have all at once? We're trying to get our people, all of our people, to be able to have these rights that they are denied because of the color of their skin. By all of our people, we mean both hetero and homosexual, and however you want to fall on a spectrum. Okay, all of those people can't eat at the lunch counter, right? Are denied jobs because of the color of their skin. Now, once you go through that battle, that's not the end, right? So there was a lot of different thoughts there. And I think one good thing about these nominations, coming back to these Oscar nominations for 2024, is they reflect a lot of different ideas.
Mhm.
And as you said, we kind of all have some homework to do. If you're interested in homework, I know that I give out homework sometimes here. Um, so we got some movies that you want. Is there anything that, Val, that you want to see that you
I'm
haven't?
gonna put back up the list of the 10 that we
Yeah, let's
we
take a look.
have and see what jumps out at me, and you could definitely let me know which one you that I should probably check out. Linda, Linda Gray, she's saying, I grew up in the 50s and we all were accepted as one people. Well, I'm telling you, it in some circles, yes, that worked, but in other circles, it just didn't.
Well,
And
yeah, because you want to be your
I'm
authentic self, right?
hmm?
You want to be your authentic self.
Right, exactly.
And some people, though they did not complain, openly to you or around you, they were silently kind of like, well, I guess I got to act this way. I guess I got to do that because I'm here. I can't really be who I am. And thankfully, hopefully, we are moving away from that and everybody is feeling better in who they are.
Right.
Yeah. So here, looking at this list, you got to see American Fiction.
Okay. So I that's on the list to see this week. So I'm hoping to go ahead and review it because I want to definitely review the film and let you guys know. Because when I did the review of The Color Purple, it was a lot of great responses. I unfortunately didn't have the wonderful slides that I like to have, but I was like, I'm going to talk about this film, and you guys let me know what you all think. And it was good to kind of get you guys talking about the color purple. But yes, so that's one I would like to see. I miss Barbie. I have access to see Barbie, so I can definitely do that. I've already seen Killers of the Flower Moon. I saw the holdovers. That's something that if you're a fan, if you're a fan of Paul Giamatti, he is brilliant in this film. He is also nominated in, is it supporting or best? I think he's supporting.
Best actor. And
Best actor. Okay.
Divine Joy Randolph.
And
Divine Joy
supporting.
Randolph, African American actress. She's up for Best Supporting Actress. She won the Golden Globe for this role in The Holdovers. You may remember her. She made her debut, pretty much her big time debut, with Eddie Murphy in a movie on Netflix with Eddie Murphy, where he portrays the very controversial 70s comedian. What's his name? Trying to remember the name of the guy.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly who you're talking
Okay.
about. It. She
So
was kind of
she's
his
in that
ride or
movie.
die.
Yes, and she did
Yes.
well, and she is amazing in this movie. If you go see The Holdovers just to see her, I think it's on Peacock. It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it
Right.
for sure.
Right, exactly. And I'm telling you, the one thing that I was excited to see was that, you know, whomever her agent is, they're picking well for her. So you're not
Yeah.
just seeing
Yeah.
her in anything. So she won. I think Danielle Brooks from The Color Purple is nominated. That's the lone
Yes.
nomination that I know that The Color Purple got.
Yeah.
But I feel like it'll either be between her or possibly Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be
Okay.
between those two. And then of course,
I don't need to see Zone of Interest. It's a Nazi movie. It's a movie
what's
about
a Nazi movie? What's that?
It's about someone who had gone through Nazi constant. I don't care. I don't want to see it. Poor Things is interesting. It's
Okay.
kind of this take. Emma Stone is in it. It's sort of a comedy. It takes on kind of the idea of Frankenstein in a way.
Okay.
I haven't seen that. It's supposed to be really funny. I'm interested in that. Anatomy of a Fall is a sleeper here. Anatomy of a Fall
Okay.
is an international movie that has won awards all around the world. It's up for best original screenplay. Its director, who is a woman, she is up for best director. And this movie could slip in and sneak in toward best picture. It depends on, as you said, how people feel about Oppenheimer. They really want that to be the best picture of last year. And then there's Barbie, and Barbie's sitting right there too.
Yeah.
Val, I'll see Killers of the Flower Moon based on your recommendation.
Yeah.
I love Scorsese, but I'm is each movie he makes, I'm hesitant to give him 3 to 4 hours of my life over and over again.
So
I feel like, you know, he still have Thelma Schumacher? Is she still editing his films?
Yes, I think so. I think she did this one
slow,
too.
she's slow on them cuts now, because these movies are a little long. Now, all Scorsese don't have to be 3.5 hours, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't. And here's the thing about this with Flowers of the Killer Moon. What I ended up doing was watching it in 2 parts. So I watched the first hour.
We really are going back to the 50s in, right? We got to have a matinee, and then we go and break and have dinner and come back.
Take a break, have dinner, and then you come back to it.
Show? What are we doing here?
And then when I watched Oppenheimer, I was doing taxes. So I was thinking, I'm gonna take something that I really don't want to do. I'm gonna watch this film, and I'm gonna I'm gonna sit here and do these.
So Oppenheimer. Here's what they got to put on their posters now. Oppenheimer, more enjoyable than doing taxes.
I got into it.
Voice, Johnson.
I got into it. I got into doing my taxes. And before I realized that we were coming towards the end of the film, Robert Downey Jr., I want to mention him. Yes. He ended up winning the Best Supporting Actor for Oppenheimer. And I think he's a strong contender. I feel like he could walk away with the Oscar. Iron Man could walk away with the Oscar. So I'm excited about seeing what could happen with that.
I'd like to see him get an Oscar and have that microphone, because we all know Robert Downey Jr. is the white Cat Williams. And if you give him a microphone, you have no idea what Robert Downey Jr. is going to say on live TV for like 3 to 4 minutes. Oh my goodness. Please have your finger by the button, okay? Because it could be a wild time. That
No,
too. God bless him.
I am extremely
Woo.
biased in the same way that as much as last year when I was extremely heartbroken that Angela Bassett did not win the Oscar for
The one that she thought she
Black
was going to win.
Panther. What was
Yes.
that?
The one that she thought, we all thought she was going to win. As she
We
tried to get up
thought she was
and then
going to
had to sit
win,
back down.
but but
Oh,
because
Lord. Yeah. Uh-huh.
but because I enjoyed the film, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the film that Jamie Lee Curtis was nominated for and won. I could not be upset
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
really liked her in that role.
And you know
Why
how
am
I
I
felt
forgetting the
about
name of the
that movie.
movie? Everything,
Everything,
everywhere, all
everywhere,
at
all at
once.
once. Yep. And that was
Yes.
clearly going to win Best Picture. I remember seeing that movie a year or a couple of months right before nominations, and as soon as I saw it, like, well, there's your Best Picture winner. This is it. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. This is amazing. And sure enough, it did, and it swept all the categories. This year, there's nothing that comes out that same way. Maybe Oppenheimer, maybe.
Maybe. And
But
it
I
depends.
feel about Barbie the same way, Val.
But I
Barbie,
feel like whomever wins, I always watch who wins adapted and original screenplay and director, and to me that tells me who's winning best picture because those
well,
things
my
are like
girl's not
peanut
up for
butter and
directing.
jelly. They're joined together.
Well, my girl's Greta Gerwig is not up for directing, so that's maybe makes that a weaker case in using your metric there. But she is up for best adapted screenplay along with Oppenheimer. So the
Mhm.
two of them are, I mean, they're in a lot of categories together, Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Outside of acting, they are. So
Yeah. So and I feel like Barbie is probably going to get recognized either in costume and other, technical awards. I feel like they're going to win in that regard.
for
I
sure,
saw
music,
Oppenheimer also nominated for sound design,
yeah.
production, editing, cinematography. These are the other awards I watch for and look at. But like I said, it's these these 10 films that are out. Like I said, I've seen 4, you've seen 6. I am
Mhm.
going to venture out to see I am going to see Anatomy of the Fall. I think
Harder
Poor
to find.
Things.
Harder to find. I've
I'll
tried to
find
look
a
for
way.
it. In terms of streaming, it's not really there yet.
Okay, so it's
Just about
probably it's
everything else is Poor Things is still in theaters. Past Lives is available on demand. Oh, what is Poor Things and Past Lives about?
that's
Okay.
Mark Lee's
Yeah,
question.
real quick, I promise. Past Lives is a story about a immigrant family from Korea whose the young daughter is leaving her kind of like grade school boyfriend and
Oh.
comes stateside. But the grade school boyfriend and the woman reconnect online after she's married. So it
Oh.
kind of goes, what life does she want to live? How much of her past will dictate her future? It's a love story and it's a really sweet movie.
Aw.
Poor Things is this sort of sci-fi-ish kind of comedy about this woman who was kind of reanimated, put together, sort of. It's more difficult to kind of describe, but it stars Emma Stone. Mark Ruffalo is also in the movie, who I think is nominated for something, right?
Both of them are nominated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Best
he's
actor,
nominated.
best
She's
actress.
nominated. It's a
Mhm.
odder movie, but it is in theaters, so you can find Poor Things in theaters. Past Life is video on demand right now.
Okay. So those are the films I am going to see, and Barbie is something I can see as
Yeah,
soon as we get off.
Maestro shouldn't be up there. Did I say that?
Maestro should not be up there.
No,
So maybe
Color Purple, the musical should have Maestro's spot. That's where it should be, right there.
wow. Yeah,
Uh,
because I
Bradley
I
Cooper
saw
can go
Maestro,
away.
and as much as I do like Bradley Cooper, you don't.
I do not. I don't
Okay.
like Bradley Cooper in a prosthetic nose. I don't like him in his real nose. I don't need it. I don't like him kind of sliding in and back and forth in a really confusing movie. You said how much of it were you able to watch, Val?
I watched about a half hour to 40 minutes. I
Wow,
checked it at the end.
way more than I could do. That was a 15-minute thing, and it's just like, no, I don't
Oh,
think
wow.
so. I don't.
I was just interested in the topic
Tar was more
and
interesting that movie. The music
wow,
in
you
Tar was
shots
better.
fired.
Hey, the Leonard Bernstein section of Tar, where she talks about this same guy who Bradley Cooper tried to make a whole movie about, is more interesting in those 5 minutes than this whole thing.
Wow. And Mark is asking about Zone of Interest.
Zone of Interest. That is the movie that talks about someone who was part of Auschwitz concentration camps, and how in the world do these folks who were part of the Nazi world live normal lives, and some of them have tried to do it. It's based on the book by Martin Amis, and I, I, I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it.
You're like, I'm good. I don't want to see it.
Slavery and the Holocaust. You know what? I'll just read about it. I don't need to watch a whole movie on it anymore.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, I totally get and understand that. And speaking of um literally 1 week ago, we celebrated the celebration of, I want to call it the King holiday. And in fact, last week, myself and Coach Tony, we were on here talking about some of the actors, the best actors that portrayed Dr. King on
Yeah.
screen. And I think we were between
David
Jeffrey
Aiello?
Wright, Jeffrey Wright and David Oyelowo.
Aiello. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we were kind of thinking about those two guys, but
I give the nod to
unfortunately,
David.
over the last couple, I think over the last day, I was hearing about this and didn't realize it. Dexter Scott King, which was one of the kids of Dr. King, had passed away, and from prostate cancer. I think that was the cause. He was 62 years old, 62 years young, I like to say. And so I just know that it's weird, you have everyone celebrating your father, and then literally this less than a week later, you've been called home as well. So I don't I you said that Dexter was kind of into continuing the legacy of Dr. King?
Yeah, Dexter was the child who was forward on, and this is a couple of decades ago. He was the one who sold off part of the King library and the King legacy at some point to Time Warner during the Time Warner merger and AOL Time Warner, and
Mhm.
he made a good profit off of that, off of King's works that should have, and I think did in some part, go to the library, to go to the King Center, to do that. So he was more on the business side. He was someone who was on the business and media side in terms of the four children. That was his area. MLK the Third was, of course, has talked about social issues throughout the entirety of his life. Then you had Bernice. You have Bernice, who is the minister, right? That she's the minister, right? She's the
I
reverend.
believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
Yolanda
you
was
had
the
Yolanda,
minister.
and Yolanda was, Yolanda. So they were all, tried to take on that legacy and move it forward. So, I mean, movies like Rustin do help in terms of keeping the civil rights era and some of those ideals alive. I mean, maybe they're showing different sides of it, but they're keeping it alive. Val, I'm worried now. I mean, because his kids, they're all older than us, and they're starting to, naturally. Who's going to be there to kind of continue their work? continuing to make this holiday, which you and I have talked about. There are many people now who don't remember when Stevie Wonder had to work with Coretta Scott King and the congressman from Michigan to get this to become a national holiday. For a lot of people, it just is. That third Monday in January. They don't know that there was a struggle. They don't know that there was a time when the U.S. didn't want to honor King. They just think that, oh yeah, of course, it's natural. As I sit here in a high school named after Dr. King, I mean, some of this we take for granted, and I don't think we should.
No, we shouldn't.
It's dangerous for us to take some of this for granted while people are busy. If you follow other things going on tonight, people are busy trying to take us back pre-1950s. Okay, they're trying to make America great again, and I don't know about that. I don't know if we have to go backwards to make America great. I'd rather go forward to make America great.
Right. And
That's what King wanted to do. King wanted to move forward to make America great.
Right. And so prayers go out to the King family. And like I said, great films like Rustin, that talk about what happened in the civil rights movement, films that are like that just need to continue to be made so that we keep it active on our lips versus us forgetting about it. Because I'm telling you, you talk to anyone who's of a Jewish faith or background, if you try to say, let's ignore the Holocaust, nope.
Oh, nope. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to ignore the Holocaust. I just don't want to watch it as a film anymore.
And I get
Schindler's List. I'm good at the Schindler's List. Steven Spielberg got me there. I'm good.
Okay, but here's the thing: you are not going to shut down anyone of Jewish. You're not going to shut anyone down that's Jewish
I don't want to.
Not tell them, let's not talk about the Holocaust. Let's pretend like it didn't happen.
Everybody should tell their story. Everyone should tell their story and be able to tell their own authentic story.
Yeah, so I'm I have to say so, but like I said, so Dexter, 62 years young, and like
attractive man, huh?
What happened?
He's a good-looking kid. I mean, he's a good-looking guy.
He actually looked a lot more. He resembled his father a lot versus the other kids. But now of the 4 kids, it's now only 2 left. So yeah. So that's what we is. I was hoping a coach would come in, but I see that I think he still has a game. But I definitely wanted to give you guys a shout out and a major thank you for allowing the Pull-Up podcast to happen on last night. We had a blast, and he had Coach Zoe on with him. And so on behalf of myself and Coach Tony, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming out to support. And we have some more stuff happening coming up with, I want to say, the Pull-Up podcast. He's got a great lineup of folks coming on. And like I said, he'll be talking with other coaches, and that's major to be able to talk with other coaches and stuff like that. But the 96th annual Oscars, that will be Jimmy Kimmel will be the host. It'll be it'll be starting to air a little bit earlier, not 8 p.m.
Jimmy
Eastern.
Kimmel.
It'll be airing earlier.
Not Jimmy Fallon. Whoa.
It's not Jimmy Fallon. I
thought it was scared earlier. Fallon. She told me Jimmy Fallon's hosting the Oscars. I went, oh no. Why? Make it stop, please. Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel will be nice host there. Certainly some of these award shows now with these hosts and some of these odd jokes that haven't been hitting. I mean, it's a rough time to be a comedian, right?
It is. It is, and people are so critical.
Show? Yeah, or getting on Cat Williams' radar. It's tough. It's tough being a comedian.
You can't do it. But we'll be back. I'll be back next week doing what we do, and we want to personally thank our special guest, Mr. Womble, for stopping in to talk Oscars. And like I said, I was thinking I want to talk Oscars, but I don't know if you talk Oscars with a coach. He would have done it, but I'm thinking, hey,
Oh, Coach Tony loves movies.
he
Yeah,
loves movies.
no
We talk
pretty
about it
pass.
all the
Yeah,
time, but
yeah.
yeah.
Y'all don't know. I know. He loves movies, and when he's not out there on the court, he'll be in front of a screen. He's well versed for sure.
Yeah, because we've been talking a lot of hip hop as well. So I totally get that. Oh my gosh. Today's episode is brought to you by what? Brand new ebook that's coming out March 5th. Pre-orders are right now. Last night, a DJ saved my life. Please check it out.
Check it out. That story.
kind of kind
Wow.
of kind of the story behind Val the voice and starting the podcast, and then giving you guys some ABCs of starting your own podcast. So there'll be a book cover reveal on what? On March 5th, when everything will be released. So we're asking people to go
Cinco de
ahead and
Marcho.
check it out. And then, of course, please join us on Patreon. Join our community via Patreon, where you can see additional videos and things that's behind the scenes. Interludes Extra presents Find Your Voice. If you want to learn more about, I want to call it producing your own situation, do it.
Telling your own story. Tell your own authentic story.
So that's what we got going on with the Talk on Tuesdays. Michael, thank you so very much, man.
Thank you.
Come back and visit whenever you want to and get some extra time, and we appreciate you. And like I said, we're going to be checking out the Oscars, and hopefully nobody gets slapped.
Hey. Caramel and cheese popcorn. That's the move. Chicago mix.
There you go. Woo! All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Peace.